Hi there, my name is James Galyon, and this is another chapter in the series called Minor Miracles. Uh, this is the most recent one here. Uh, Neat little thing that happened. Right now, I have two vehicles sitting on the driveway, an 86 Jeep Cherokee and a with a busted cracked head, which runs great, but if you start it up, it runs water into the oil. Oil mixes it together and it can ruin the engine in just a few miles, so I can't drive it. And I got an old rusty roller skate of a car. It's an 82 Toyota Tercel, first car we ever bought brand new. And it is just falling apart in every way. No inspection sticker. No registration now. In fact, it's in such bad condition, I have nothing to actually drive down to get my driver's license renewed, so that's expired. Can't afford any of it anyway, and it needs a lot of repairs. In case anybody knows a good mechanic, let me know. I can use it. I'm here in Houston. I need some help on that, but I'm sure God will provide one way or another. But one of the problems with it, it'll start if I get in it, pump the gas a bunch of times, and roll it backwards down my driveway and slam it into reverse at the last second and pop the clutch. Most of the time, it'll crank up. That's how I've been starting this car. Now, when I go shopping, which is the only place I really go with it, which is about 3/4 of a mile across the street, I only go down there at about 2 o'clock in the morning, because that way I could sneak around without the cops, because there's nobody else around. The cops seeing my inspection sticker, because it's too dark, to know that I didn't have an inspection on it, because it won't inspect. There's too many problems with it. You got to have safety inspection. It's safe enough to drive, but it's got a tattered seat belt that would cost me $200 to fix, and a couple of other problems with it that are not really going to hurt anyone else, but you know, it won't pass inspection. So I'm doing everything sneaking around here for this. And it's got a battery in it, but the battery literally uh, won't hold a charge. And on top of that, just having the terminals connected on the battery, when the electricity goes through it, when you're starting it, acid bubbles out of the top of the battery, out of cracks in the battery. That's how bad it is. And so this has been this way for about 6 or 8 months. And I've been having to roll this thing down the driveway. I've been stuck, broke down. I have to wait. I stand out within a parking lot at 2 o'clock in the morning at the local Kroger grocery store, holding my jumper cables up in each hand, going, "Somebody give me a jump. This old bald fat dude over here with a beard. Hey, I'm not no creepy guy. Come give me a jump with your car." When the people would come out of the store, and I'd have to wait till someone would come do that to be able to get back home. That wasn't good, because my wife, she's a type 1 insulin-dependent brittle diabetic. She is severely ill. She has gastroparesis, chronic urticaria, Raynaud's syndrome, no thyroid left, and she hasn't had any medicines for most of these for like 5 years. She had glaucoma. She actually went 2 months with no medicine, because we couldn't afford the doctor, and before we got more medicine, and she lost part of her eyesight. So, being at home with her is what I have to do. I have to stay at home with her pretty much 24/7, because leaving her too long, she could actually die from the diabetes, pass out and go unconscious and die. And when you get to one of the later episodes, uh, I'll be talking about that. It'll be one of the miracles you'll hear about. But anyway, I needed a battery for this thing, and I tried calling down to the place I got my old battery, and I said, "Hey, you got any batteries?" They said, "Oh yeah, we have recycled rejuvenated batteries we sell." And they were like, instead of 100, they were like $50. I'm like, "I haven't got $50. Can't you just give me an old battery?" "No, we can't do that." Kind of irritating. I think it's kind of being stingy, but hey, they got them for free for trade-ins. They wouldn't give me one. So that was 8 months earlier I tried that. So I'm still, for all these time, I pushed my car around, trying to get it cranked up and started. Kind of chancing this thing all the time whenever I went anywhere. And just about 2 weeks ago, I got up one day and I thought, maybe I could call some of the auto parts stores around here and find out if I could get a battery. I'd prayed about it, though. Now, this is what's neat about it. I'd been, God provide, things like this there from time to time over the months and whatever, just mainly praying for my wife's health. And He's not chose to heal her yet. Not every prayer is answered. But so God, I need a battery for my car. And just literally the evening before, I'd prayed about this with my wife. And so the next morning I get up and I called one of the auto parts stores that I've been buying from for years, but they were like 7, 8 miles away, and they didn't have anything. And they said to keep an eye out, but didn't expect anything from them. And I remembered there was a car parts store at the very front of my subdivision. We're talking half-mile away at the most. And I thought, I think I'll give them a call. Now, this was a Saturday about 2 weeks ago. So I called them up and I said, hey, this is my situation. Do you ever get a traded battery that's just got a little bit of juice? I mean, this tiny little car of mine, I could just about run it on a couple of D-sized batteries. It don't take much. But if somebody ever bringing a battery that's like 3/4 dead and got a little juice in it, doesn't leak, at least doesn't leak acid. And you ever got anything like that? And the gentleman said, well, today's Saturday. All of the batteries were picked up on Friday and recycled. They pick them all up so that we're totally cleaned out. We don't have anything. I said, okay. And he said, well, wait a minute. Hold on just a minute, sir. And remember, I prayed about this the night before. And so let me go check something. And he comes back and said, yeah, I thought I remember this. Someone brought in a battery this morning, and they said the thing was dead. But the thing is, the battery looks brand new. Now, it's one of what you call these deep start batteries. Now, a deep start battery is one of these heavy-duty auto marine batteries that you could just about crank a diesel on, okay? This is a massive, major-duty, expensive battery, $200, $300 battery, $200 battery at least. And and he says, I've got one back here, but they told me it was dead, but the thing looks like new. He said, if you want it, you're welcome to it. It says it's just sitting here. I'll be glad. I won't recycle it. Just give it to you if you want it. Do what you can with it. So I said I'll be down there in about an hour. And when I went down there, he had put the charger on it for me. He said, I don't know how good it is, but you're welcome to it. Just take it. I went out and put it in the car. It's kind of neat though, because back in 1982 when I got my car, the batteries were massive at 82. Okay, for X amount of juice, for even for a little car like that, you had this big old battery. Well, it's kind of funny because over the years, the next 20 years or 30 years, this from 82 to now, the batteries have gotten the same juice, but they're a lot smaller. Okay, so the battery I actually had in my car there was much smaller, and it kind of wobbled around on the little thing it sat on there, and it was useless. But kind of funny, this battery he gave me to the millimeter, because it was a big oversized battery for today's standards, fit exactly on the plate that my car had available for the battery. It wouldn't you could not have put an 1/8 of an inch more size battery on there going either direction, but it fit perfectly. So I went there and I put my terminals on that, went in and turned the car, cranked over like I could have run the car on the battery alone and just drove it on the starter. This thing had so much power. And he had mentioned something to me. He said, you know what's really strange about this battery, sir? He says, it doesn't look like anyone's ever put terminals, clamped anything on it before. It looks brand new. Come to find out it was. It was a brand new battery. And when they have these new batteries in the store, what they do is they'll put a charge on it when they get it ready to sell it. It kind of gets the juices going in the battery and kind of gets it started, and it starts this little chemical effect or whatever. And this had never been done that way. It was brand new. We're talking a $200 battery. So like I said, I put that thing in there, and that thing cranks over. I think it's got so much power, it's unreal. And the neat thing about it is I have no battery in my other car, so I'll be able to move it to there if I ever get my Jeep fixed. But God answered the prayer. And yeah, it's just a thing. It's just a battery, But the way it happened, that they're all been picked up. Oh, wait a minute. Just this one is brought in this morning, just a few hours before I called to ask for one. And it was brand new. And by the way, you know something? It was even the exact same brand of battery, which was not a common brand, of the old one I had in there that had been leaking for years. The exact same brand. It was an Interstate battery. So, I give God credit for providing that. You can call it a coincidence. Hey, you believe what you want to believe. But I'm all charged up about it. But anyway, I thank God for providing, and now I don't have to worry about going across the street and being able to start my car. I can get back home quickly if I need to take care of my wife. And so I'm going to put a little website. There's a website right now I actually created called savingmypenny.com. SAVINGMYPENNY.com. You'll see in the bottom corner over, where's it at? That's over on the side. You'll see over here the actual listing there. I'll put that in there. But if you'd like to go there, anything y'all can do to help us out, we'd be very appreciated. God blesses us. Sometimes He does it by intervening with other people. Sometimes He does it directly, just as suddenly things change and whatever. But if you can help us out, we'd appreciate it. Right now, we literally have no money for anything. Lights probably getting a disconnect notice in another couple of days, and on the lights, and probably we don't have any money for even food right now. I have the lights on right now because I've paid for it for the month. But you know something? You watch and just watch and wait for my next video and see if God don't provide somehow or another a way for us to be taken care of. And I found that it's kind of like, it's real easy to go around and pray in a closet somewhere, and if somebody suddenly something happens good, then you can come out and say, well, I went and prayed for it, and then if it doesn't, then you're not embarrassed because it didn't happen. I got faith God's going to provide. He's going to do something to give us what we need. Not so much what I want, but He'll give us what we need. And I appreciate y'all's prayers for my wife. Her name is Penny. That's where I get the name savingmypenny.com. But she is severely ill. We are right now in need of something called Novolog insulin because we have no doctors. We have Obamacare, but we can't use it because the deductibles are so high that we can't afford them. So we can't afford to go to the doctor. So it's been it looks bad right now, but you know something? It says in the Bible, we're only promised today, we're not promised tomorrow. But you know something? Tomorrow I'm waiting for the next big miracle. We don't know what's going to happen, but God is going to provide for us. And I know He will in His time. And that's the way I want it to happen. So I pray that you learn what it's like to have a faith that we have and to know that there is someone that loves you enough, God Almighty, who He created you, you're like it, you're His children, and that He loved you enough to send His Son, Christ Jesus, for you, and you actually needed it, okay? And that it's not a religion, it's a relationship, that I heard people say, because you can do all of the, and the remember all the verses and stuff like that. That's good to have that there. It maybe shows a reverence to God, or shows that you care enough to actually learn what His Word says. But what you need to, though, is to have communication with God. And that starts with admitting that you need it, admitting that you are sinful, and that you do things wrong. Okay, I still do too. But you want to change, and that you want God's help doing it, and that you want forgiveness. This is the biggie. Forgiveness, which is only available by accepting the sacrifice that Christ did on the cross, by dying, taking on your sin, and then rising again. That's the good news. And so God bless you. When I'm making this, tomorrow happens to be a Easter. So tomorrow's when we celebrate Christ rising from the dead. And so God bless you. I pray that He take care of everything that you need, that God would want you to have. And you have a blessed day.